Okay, we got one right in front of us.
That just parked up.
Okay, give me the Sally saw the back way. How far is Sally saw? Coming. I want you to start expediting this. That's on the mall. Overton. I'm done with Sally call. Can we get to the one that's coming right at us? I want to get right in front of that super cell. However you get me there, get me there. That one. Marble City. And it's going to pass Stigler before we get down there. Right here?
Yeah. I just punched it in.
Start giving me corrections, please.
And in 4/10 of a mile, we're going to bear right for the speed. And we put it up here.
And to get to Marble City, it literally wants us to get off that interstate.
Yes.
Which way?
Keep going.
Can you tell me? Can you tell me?
Keep going straight.
How far?
9.9 miles.
That's what I need to know. All right, we're east of Oklahoma City. We're headed to Marble City, just south of I-40. We've got a tornado on the ground headed to that city. It's already hit McClellan, I believe was the name of the town. It's a huge supercell, just like the one last night that dropped that large one in Kansas. We're going to Marble City, right?
Yes, we are.
And Sally Sally Saw is really where we need to be.
Sally Saw?
Got the Marble City north of it.
Yes.
Sally Saw, so we can go straight down 59 if we have to.
For Sally Saw, it wants us to turn around
Nope,
and go on to 351.
nope. Can't do that now.
Okay?
Look at where Marble City is. Reference to Sally Saw. So I can get to here.
We are seeing a large area of rotation now coming from the Wilburton. Not entirely sure if we saw.
Okay, I need to get down. Keep me down here in front of that storm. Stigler, Stigler to Fort Smith area. That thing's on the ground. I need to get there. Well, look where I'm at and figure I got 45 minutes to get anywhere down this way.
That's where I'm looking. I'm looking.
Anything between Stigler and Potea.
To Stigler, it's that.
Okay, look. That is going to be at Stigler before I can get from there down to here. So 40, how far am I from 40?
From 40? This is going to bring you to 40. You're almost at 40.
Didn't ask that.
In 4 miles, you're going to turn onto West 43rd Street, and that's going to put you on to 40.
I'll get on 40 right there.
Yes.
I'm 10 miles from 40. I'm in Muskogee. Muskogee is not on I-40.
Oh.
We are actually not far though from our radar site now. It's gotten a lot closer. So we are in a better position when it comes to radar coverage. Before we were relying on literally Branford radar, really just these two radar sites.
You're going to go down Highway 64, and that'll bring you down to 40.
Well, we're on 69 now, right?
Right. And 43rd Street is going to put you to Highway 64, which will put you on Interstate 40.
And how far am I from that?
We actually have two areas of rotation right now west of Marble City. We got one west of Marble
We're right
City
here.
and another one just to the northwest of Marble City.
I can't drive.
There could be another tornado
No.
here soon for our northern area of rotation, which is strengthening. That would be just staying south of Tahlequah, heading up towards 62 west of Stillwell. So there's a chance of getting another tornado when it
Tell
gets
me
us a
how
few minutes
far I
over.
am.
This
We're
area
3.5 miles from 43rd Street.
That's also kind of wrapping back in here. You can kind of see the hook. You can kind of make it out of the radar a little bit and the inflow.
I'll figure.
This one's also trying to organize. Once the rain clears out in front of this thing's going to probably ramp up and produce a tornado once it gets closer to Stillwell. It's going to be probably about 10 to 15 minutes until this thing really plants something big. But I mean, I can't say in a safe place in case that happens sooner. Back over near Wilburton, we saw the large area of very strong velocities coming up into Wilburton right now. That is moving in the direction of Red Oak and also McCurtain. It is still a particularly dangerous situation. Tornado warning. I would assume we're going to get a new tornado exact location. This is Scott Peak. This is on the east side of Kiowa. He is now in the town of Pittsburgh. So we're coming up into Pittsburgh where there is damage from this large tornado that just went through this area.
I'm gonna hit 40 and I'm going to Sally
We
Saw.
have some trees down there. He's going to be driving up into the damage here in the next, I think, 30 seconds to a minute. Hey, Daniel, for becoming a moderate velocity member. They also all land as well as Robert. Can you pick up the lands? You have a radar sight to rain? You actually have a radar sight to rain. I think it's just the right that's the problem. Keep Scott on the bottom left of your screen, and once he gets closer, we'll go back to the full camera. But he's coming up for the damage right now. And once again, this tornado went right through Pittsburgh, Kiowa, also Blanco, Bond, and then we also went right through Hartshorn too. I mean, it could drop another big tornado here in the next few minutes. It is still rotating a lot, coming up towards right up in the curve. I'm looking at a lot of pressure about east, so back up here in Capital City and Sloan. The velocities are really strong in this, currently going to the northeast. Alright, Riley has an update. Go ahead, Riley.
Hey, Max, so just an update on why we may be seeing increased tornado potential. So we did get that mesoscale discussion for this area late in May. We're going to see elevated tornado potential. They said that a couple of cents per cells of the we have right now. And they are going to continue to move likely strong that tornado. Reasoning for that is the environment we have right now is actually not the prime environment we've seen throughout the day. So let's look at our H4 and on and we're going to see the low level data translate over the top. So our storms are currently located right around here in this area. However, our strongest lower level data scale off to the south. Over the next couple of hours, as the sun starts to go down back, we'll be able to see that region of strong low level data right to where these storms are currently located. You kind of actually see the storms taking advantage of this increased lower level data.
Now we're going to Sally Saw, Fort Smith. All this is coming back to Tennessee and Kentucky, so we'll be back there tomorrow because all this is going to be back into Tennessee, Mississippi, Kentucky, and Alabama by tomorrow afternoon. So Holly, did you see that big tornado we filmed last night around midnight? We posted part of the video. It's not the greatest, but we didn't have time to pull any more down. And had to get some sleep so we could get down this way. We measured that tornado path today. I don't know if anybody that's on was watching it last night with us, but we literally passed in front of that tornado getting down to Turn, Kansas. It crossed the road where we passed 5 minutes after we went by, and unfortunately there was a house there that it totally destroyed. Fortunately though, the couple that lived there did not get hurt. Matter of fact, once you see that tornado, you're not going to believe it, but there was no fatalities and no major injuries anywhere. that tornado that we posted on our channel last night, that we've got more video we'll be posting. I posted some better pictures on my Instagram. Was over 1.5 miles wide. It may actually be classified as almost a 2-mile wide tornado. It's the largest tornado I have ever seen. I am shocked that nobody was killed or seriously injured. We also spent several hours in the town that it hit this morning, and talking with a lot of the residents there in that small community. All of them ran to the church and got in the basement of the church. Is why so many survived. Drop again right here. We meet Panama. Look at all those towns right there. But I need to keep going east. It's going to cross at Sally Saw. How far are we? We're east of Oklahoma City. We're headed for Sally Saw, Oklahoma, right on I-40. We've got a tornado or supercell that's been dropping a tornado. It's a large supercell like we were on last night with that big tornado. And it's been dropping a tornado and then lifting and dropping it back down. So we think it's going to drop it again. They've got a lot of warnings on this supercell. We're just having to route and reroute to stay in front of it. If you're looking on the radar, you can see what we're getting ready to drive through to get to Sally Saw. It's several large, severe warned thunderstorms. Heavy lightning is in them. They've got flood warnings out, and then on top of that we've got this supercell that's going to barrel right through the bottom of them. I don't know if the he must be talking about something. Glad to have everybody on board. We had a lot of people drop off last night, and even we thought that it was winding down, and then we saw a tornado warning come up, and it dropped near Greensburg, Kansas. We thought it was going to be another devastating event for Greensburg. That town in Kansas was wiped out about 15 years ago or so. But it missed Greensburg, lifted, and when it dropped again, well, you'd have to watch the video. We barely made it in front of it to get on the south side. If we had went to the town I was originally going to try to get around it, that was the town that got hit. And we were able to go a shorter route, got in front of it. It probably passed, we probably didn't get 5 miles, even that far, past it before it came through. The path that we measured today before it got to Plevna, Plevna, was over 1.5 miles wide. The pictures that we posted, and you can look on my Instagram for the still pictures, because we got some really, really great shots of it. It was not only over 1.5 miles wide, some say it was over 2 miles wide. It had a satellite tornado, and we were able to capture a very good lightning strike that lit the whole structure up. And right in the front of it is a large grain bin, and you can compare that little dot of the grain bin to the size of that tornado that was on the ground. When I called 911 to report it and give them the exact location so they could warn the little communities downstream, I told them it was the largest tornado I had ever seen in my entire life. It was absolutely huge. With that said, and the fact that some were saying it had over 200 mile an hour wind speeds in it, I believe that they're only going to list it as being an EF3. I didn't see any structures except one mobile home that had been ripped totally off the foundation and destroyed. The rest of the houses pretty much were standing. They might be missing half the house or the roof, but the house itself, the majority of the houses were still standing. Even the ones that took a direct hit from it. They said it was so loud when it hit that town that running to the church to get in the basement, they couldn't hear themselves talking to each other. But like I said, you'd have to watch that live chase. The video is still out there until we finish editing it from last night. But go to, I can't even tell you how far into it, but it's in the last hour of that chase. And we leave Great Bend, Kansas, because we were sitting there talking to a bunch of other chasers and took off to get down there to it. And literally almost had to drive through the storm to get south of it to miss that tornado. And when we went back today and redrove our route and saw where it crossed right over the road that we were on, and we could see the rotation last night, it was close. That's all I can say. It was close. It couldn't have been more than 3 to 5 miles out to our west when we went down that road to Turon, got on 61, turned around, found a good place to film, and caught it in the lightning flashes. But this one we're headed to is still a huge supercell. We've got one big one out to the left of the camera that's tornado warned, but it's 30 minutes for us to get to it, and there's no way we're going to catch it. This other one that we're going down to Sallisaw, Oklahoma on Interstate 40 to get in front of has already dropped a tornado out of it at least 3 times. And they've got major damage back down towards Interstate 35 south of Oklahoma City. And for anybody watching, all this is moving. It's going to move through Arkansas, Louisiana, and Missouri tonight. If you live in those 3 states, you better be aware or have some way to get warnings if they put them out. This is not going to settle down anytime soon. And then it'll be in Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Alabama by tomorrow afternoon. If you're anywhere in Arkansas right now, particularly Fort Smith, Fayetteville, up to southwest Missouri, you need to be aware of all these storms that's coming in on you right now. They're still going to be dropping tornadoes up until probably midnight. That tornado, that large one last night that we videotaped, that was at 11:30, and it stayed on the ground probably for 20 minutes before we filmed it at 11:30, and stayed on the ground for another 30 minutes after that. So it was on the ground for almost an hour, and that was 11:30 to midnight last night. I mean, they told us things were quieting down, and obviously that wasn't the case. That was the biggest tornado I have ever seen. It was so low to the ground and so big, I could barely get it in the viewfinder to show it on the video. That's how wide that tornado was. And it was about 4 miles from us when we were videotaping it. Oklahoma, we're on Highway 351, moving to the southeast, trying to get down to Interstate 40 to Sallisaw, Oklahoma. We're going to get right in front of this supercell, and there's more coming behind it, but they're all training right through this area down around Sallisaw and Sigler, Oklahoma, headed into Arkansas. Both of these currently warned storms that are tornado warned are going to go just north of Fort Smith when they cross the state line. If you haven't joined our channel, subscribe, go back and look at the videos. Just this week, we were able to capture the Marion, Illinois tornado. They upgraded it yesterday to an EF4, and we were one of the first people on the scene after it touched down in Creole Springs. And the houses that were destroyed there is what determined if they were going to raise it to an EF4. We had two houses totally off their foundation, and we couldn't identify a piece of that house anywhere in the area. But nobody was seriously hurt, and we had no fatalities. But we've got that video posted, so certainly subscribe to the channel, hit the notification. We're going to be posting the videos not just from the live feed, but we've got 6 cameras in the windshield and on each side of the car that's filming in 4K, and when we get those downloaded, we'll be posting the highlights of those chases on our channel sometime this coming week. And if you hit the notification, you'll get notified when we post those. Also, we're going to be live again tomorrow after this evening as those storms roll through Arkansas and into the Dixie Alley. I tell you, we've been in so much construction, particularly here in Oklahoma. If you live in Oklahoma, I feel for you, because almost every interstate we've been on has had construction work going on. They've got heavy damage over south of Oklahoma City. If you know anybody in northwest Arkansas, need to let them know these storms are coming, and they're bringing tornadoes with them. Also into southwest Missouri, Springfield area, Joplin area. All these are moving up that way as they move to the east. I wish I could show you the radar or what we're seeing right now, but that's kind of impossible to drive and move the camera over there to show that to you. But if you've got a radar app, certainly take a look at it. Or if they're showing anything on your local TV channel, it's just a huge line of storms with embedded supercells all up and down them, all coming through eastern Oklahoma right now. We should be down here in front of this storm here just any minute.
Tornado warning just popped up on my napkin.
All right, our phones are going off. I knew we were getting close, that we've got a emergency warning for a tornado in this area. So we're getting close to it. Welcome aboard, Ladybug. Man, oh man. So don't think we're speeding. The speed limit here is 75. We're doing about 55. There's so much water in the tire ruts that you can't go too fast without hydroplaning. So we've had some. It looks faster on the live feed, but we're generally 20 mile an hour under the speed limit in weather like this. Almost up to I-40. As soon as we hit I-40, we're headed east into Sallisaw, Oklahoma. We're going to get there about the same time as this supercell starts coming in on it. And it looks like it's re-intensifying. Pittsburgh, Oklahoma, not Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
This shows the kitchen. The only thing that's literally intact with this house, it looks like, is the kitchen. You have the microwave, you got some sort of like pantry right there, and that's it. Hopefully, if there was a family here or anybody here working on the fire building was very heavily damaged. I'm not sure if this car is supposed to be here. I'm not sure if it's already parked there. I mean, I don't know if that was parked there before or just that's the way that was helping out, but if that was somebody that was parked there, I'm surprised that car didn't take any like major damage to it. Yeah, we've been posting a lot of stuff on our Twitter and Facebook pages. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Max Velocity WX. We're posting lots of frequent updates regarding everything that's happening today. So continue to follow the platforms. We'll continue to keep posting. We have people in the background posting stuff on them. Updates regarding other stuff, or even updates maybe that we're not even talking about.
Yeah, it's going to get hairy here in just a minute. We're right on the edge of this storm coming in from the right side of the live feed.
Potential for a tornado starting to increase a little bit here, just off the
kind of knew we were close to that tornado last night. If you watch that live video we posted, there was a time where we were in hail, driving rain, wind blowing, and all of a sudden everything stopped. No rain, no hail, no wind, and that's when we knew it was right on our backside. I'm hoping, I say 5 minutes, hoping that it was at least 5 minutes before it crossed behind us. But I'm going to tell you, in reality, I think it was more like 2 or 3 minutes after we passed down that road that it crossed, because by the time we got to Turin, which was only 3 miles away, and made a turn to where we could see across the fields and got up on top of a railroad track hump, we could see it. It was in our viewfinder. So for it to move and get in that position, it couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 minutes that it crossed that road behind us. And unfortunately, that couple got hit about that time. We didn't even see that house. If we did, we'd probably stop and at least blew our horn to be sure they were awake. We don't want to happen anywhere else what happened over in Somerset. If you notice the fatalities and their ages, it was mostly the older population that would have went to bed, and like my dad used to do, take out his hearing aids, and then he couldn't hear anything because that storm come through like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and they were probably in bed and never even knew it was coming. I'm not sure what the fatality count is over there now. I heard it was up to 31 or 32, and that was between Somerset and London, but still. What? Oh my God. Hold on, we got something just come through here. We got the interstate blocked. Holy cow, look at that.
There's a tree on the road.
Something just come through here. Where were we at? 54.
54.
Here, give me dial 911. 54? 54?
We're on,
what was the mile marker?
54.
Okay, and what road are we on?
We're on 351.
Probably highway patrol. I'm a trained spotter on 351 and mile marker. We're not sure. Yeah, we're not sure why that was buffering, because it was showing that we were live, but I'm glad everybody let me know. Oklahoma. We're just coming into Sally Saw, Oklahoma. We're trying to get in front of this severe. We're trying to stay up this line of storms that are dropping tornadoes here in Oklahoma. They're getting ready to move into Arkansas. should intercept this severe warning thunderstorm in Sallisaw. We're kind of paralleling it here on I-40. So by the time we get to Sallisaw right up here, this severe thunderstorm should be there. The tornado at 3 or 4 damage. Yeah, that's why we're going to Sallisaw. This is the supercell that's been dropping tornadoes since the other side of Oklahoma City to the south of Interstate 35, or to the west of Interstate 35. This storm we're coming up on is actually recycling and rebuilding. The Weather Service has said this line that we're currently in, as it progresses into Arkansas and Missouri, it's just going to keep building and dropping tornadoes tonight. So if you're in Arkansas, Missouri, maybe even northern Louisiana, because all this is moving to Dixie Alley tomorrow, and Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, and eastern Arkansas and eastern Missouri is going to be dealing with this all day tomorrow. They just tornado warned this storm again. It's just dropped another tornado just to the southwest of Sallisaw. I knew it was going to do that. This storm is about 10 miles over to the right of the camera, to the right of Interstate 40. Interstate 40 is going to make a right turn down here, going into Sallisaw. And when it does, that should be where we interact with this storm that's got a tornado on the ground. Don't say that. He just says in a tree development right over the interstate.
Right.
That's where we're at. And I don't see anything. The problem we're going to have tonight is these tornadoes are going to be rain wrapped. We might be able to see them if we're close. You're in Fayetteville, you got a large tornado on the ground south of Fayetteville. We got one on the ground here in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. That's in Fayetteville. We got one here in Sallisaw as well. I just need to go. This storm that we're headed into is literally going to cross the interstate about the time we get to Sallisaw. This radar, we've got 3 of them going in the car right now, but the one that we use to show rotation near us saved us last night. You probably wouldn't want to ever ride with us again. Glad to have you on board, John. We're trying to intersect a storm down here in Sallisaw, Oklahoma, that just went tornado warning for about the 15th time. Okay, they just put a second tornado warning out on this cell that we got just to the right of the interstate. If you're in Fayetteville or northwest Arkansas, you need to be aware of that tornado that's coming through there. We can even see it on our radar. It's so big. Well, we can't worry about that. We got our own to worry about down here. Just so y'all know, we are not anywhere near the speed limit because of how much water's on the interstate. So don't think that we're speeding down the interstate. We got a lot of water out here on the interstate. All right, we're passing the first Sallisaw exit. We got to keep going because it's going to cross down here another 4 or 5 miles. Keep looking over to your right and see if you see it.
One spot. One spot.
All right, we're coming up on this. This thing's going to intersect us here in the next 5 miles. We're seeing the lightning increase over to our right side. Okay, we're getting ready to drive into this thing just any minute. We believe it's going to be right up here in about 2 miles, just off to the right of the camera. It could be rain wrapped, but we'll know it for sure if it comes across. They've got a double tornado warning on this.
Away from windows and on the walls where possible. This is a very dangerous tornado right now. There's way more the ocean as well in Sloan and many other locations.
Getting a lot darker in front of us up here. See it? You gotta keep looking. So right here is where I think it is. Right there. Or right there.
That's about where the lightning is focused.
This thing's here. It's going to be right up here around this curve. We see some rotation on the radar. This thing's going to be rain wrapped. Should be almost in front of us right up here. Man, it is going to be rain wrapped. This tornado warned storm's right here in front of us. We're looking for any rotation up in the sky. We're too close to use the radar now because the radar's 3 minutes old and it's not going to show it to us crossing the interstate here. This is where we have to put our eyes in the sky and just start looking. Oh, wow. This thing's here, based on the last position on the radar, it should cross right up here. Doesn't necessarily mean it's on the ground, but you can see the circulation on the radar. You can see, look, right in front of us, one of our cameras is showing something right here in front of us, crossing the interstate, right here. Right here. Look at that. Look at that. We can see it on one of our cameras. It's right here in front of us, moving to the left across the interstate right now. Look at that. That is huge. Is it on?
Right by the radar plate and our exit heading right toward the radar plate as well. We just lost the key drop off active and phone silence around the radar, but definitely a tornado here, Pensacola and advancing.
Alright, so this is down to Fort Smith. We have another
Okay, this is right here. That was actually the tornado that just crossed the interstate.
going towards Farley and as well as Fort Smith.
Look at that.
Going towards the
I'm almost sure that's it. Look.
Another tornado in progress. There's
Okay,
strong inflow. Another very dangerous storm right now, just to the south of Fort Smith. You can see shelter here south of Fort Smith right now. Still doing the march that will walk and eventually Charleston.
My cameras are backwards. My front camera is a little window, and my side
Can you
camera.
see it on any of these others?
Many of the suburbs, which is where a lot of people live, where your Baldwin, Elkins, and also your tunnels coming up on Goshen, Hayfield, and eventually going towards Whitener. And this is still a very dangerous storm right now, moving to the east-northeast towards Crossroads. We also have a new tornado warning south of Vidalia. This was a confirmed tornado not long ago. It's now a large tornado.
We believe it just crossed the interstate. That's what they're talking about, is it's confirmed on the ground here. I believe that's going to be it right there. So we've got one camera that looks through the clouds a little bit. It's almost like an infrared camera. And we can actually see the silhouette. Are we in Arkansas here? No, we're way past south. I think it's right here. Okay, we're getting ready to make a turn on I-40 back to the east, northeast, and we should be able to see it again. It is totally rain wrapped. Yep, we believe that's it right in front of us. I believe it's right here in front of us, right straight in front of us. You'll see the lightning. We're just to the west of Fort Smith on Interstate 40. We're actually getting ready to move into Arkansas with this tornado. They're going to have to extend these tornado warnings up Fort Smith. This thing's right here, I'm sure. We got that we can see through clouds. You need to be looking. On Fort Smith over there.
Yeah.
We're 12 miles from Fort Smith. This tornado is right here. Okay, this tornado is right in front of us according to the radar. I think it just crossed the interstate according to what we saw. They better put a tornado warning out in Fort Smith. Oh man, it is really dark right here. This tornado, according to the radar, is right in front of us and just to the left of center of the camera. When did I turn to go to Fort Smith? Right up here?
Yes.
Where? You got a car in the ditch right there. What mile marker are we at?
Mile marker.
321?
Yes.
Alright, call it in that there's a car in the ditch in the center median.
At mile marker 221.
351. 351. Car in the ditch in the center median. Not sure if there's any in.
If we were to finish power watch, we would look over some tornado. It's over the radar side. It's running the easiest DH
351.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm on
If you look at radars here, it's a little on the east side of almost the entire radar side. Usually I'm maybe replacing it.
at mile marker
One at the top, yeah, but there's like really small range here radar side where this happened.
We did not get a chance to stop. We don't know if there's any in. The weather out here is horrible.
Yes. It was at 321.
No, 351.
No, it
Marshall,
I'm sorry? Oh, we're eastbound. I don't know. We weren't able to stop.
The weather's horrible. Tell them the weather's horrible out here.
The weather's pretty powerful out here.
Okay, we're coming up on this tornado.
My name is Seth. I'll spell it W-I-R-C-I-C-K-I.
Okay, we're headed to Fort Smith.
437. Alright.
Okay, I need to get back on 40. We got to get back on 40. This thing's still parallel in the interstate. How do you get on the interstate right here?
I can't see.
got local flooding here. They've extended the tornado warning, still paralleling the interstate is what they're saying. But this storm also dropped 2 tornadoes together back in Oklahoma City. Okay, y'all bear with me. I'm trying to drive. We can barely see out the window, so I'm hard pressed to be able to see the chat right now. But they extended this tornado warning. They think this thing is occluded and reformed and is back on the other side of the storm paralleling the interstate. And it's headed for some RV parks right down here. I bet it's dropping 1 inch to 2 inches of rain an hour right now. It's coming down so fast. What's that sound? They just put a 3rd tornado warning out on this storm. So generally, the more lightning, the closer you are to the tornado, because of the energy that it's putting out. Huh? Well, that's where it's headed. That's not where it's at. It's right here beside us. I know, I'm in it. I know y'all think we're crazy, but I wouldn't be driving in the direction of where it's going to cross if I thought we were going to drive into it. So they occlude and then they reform, and when they reform, they'll reform in another part of the storm. And this one jumped from the interstate back to the south of the interstate, but you can still see it on the radar. Yeah. What's she say? This is northeast. Oh, you still got that on Fort Smith where we turned. I didn't turn to go to Fort Smith, so now you need to set it on Alma or Clarksville. Okay. They're talking about this storm that we're on right now. They just put 2 more tornado warnings out and extended it up to Alma and Clarksville area. Okay, Central City is where we're driving to right now. It's right in front of us. It's where it shows on my radar. It's just to the right of the interstate, about 2 miles. The problem we got is the radar is so close to this tornado, we're going to see a lot of crash.
Just a distance, sort of way in progress. This is not the end of the body. Unfortunately, there's just going to be a medical opportunity just out of far away. The body has got control. That really is the path of this. Again, there is a trainer. It's still probably not in there. So I do think beforehand at least it's either yes. It does not look like there's
Put that on park.
I did.
being at least a little bit weaker, but there's definitely still a trainer here. The fact that it's not a vodka. Again, the vodka has a lot of
Ozark. Put it on Ozark. 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 Okay, our phones are going off that we were in a path of a tornado. Really? I wouldn't have guessed. So we must be getting close. We think it's about 2 miles to the right of the live feed.
Ozark is in
Arkansas, I think. It's in Arkansas. Okay, we're just crossing into the Arkansas. We're just passing the Arkansas state line.
But this storm is rotating. We're going to go over the south of St. Louis. Actually, we're going to get this even here in St. Louis. And it's rotating. It'll be more than anything over the West Summers.
The radar we were looking at is literally right here. This storm just went right over the radar. So it's too close to actually give us any information.
Keeping an eye on this, we're going to go back to the hot water. I don't think the trailers are not high on that storm. We actually knew that was getting a plan. We're going to go to the storm area. We're going to start that going from California to Missouri. Also, on that, that continues to go to the
Where's Huntsville?
He is also the confidence of Donald, Flyward, Blood, Edmonton, and Pensacola. We have new plan right now moving to the
Huntsville, Arkansas. That is northeast of us.
Where?
Huntsville, Arkansas.
That's the one up near Fayetteville.
They have upgraded this to a confirmed 21 for rainforest, Maryville, also including areas like Powell, near Huntsville and Hicksville. So this is a confirmed plan moving northeast towards rainforest. Shelter, if you want English plan, you'll be right over Huntsville. This is a brand confirmed plan right over Huntsville. And they may have already told you, but you can see the ground north of Alabama. And our trainer further down to the south of Vodka. It looks like this one is no longer on the ground. They have downgraded it from radar indicated. So it looks like it's out of the Vodka. We're getting high winds, but the tornado has likely lifted at this time. So that's good news.
So we still got 2 tornado warnings on this storm. Could be coming. Problem is we're trying to find a radar that would give us legitimate information.
How is Kansas City mostly wind and hail here over the next couple hours? Weather risk is lower up there. Most of the storms are also dominant up there. That's right, price pretty low.
That right there. I think it's the radar.
Again, this is going to be tracking eventually towards St. Louis. It's really basically parallel to I-55. Well, that might keep it on the close eye on these storms here near St. Louis. I don't really think the tornado threat is going to be that substantial in this area personally, because these storms just being so far to the east from low pressure system, even though they're extreme, I think they're going to struggle a little bit with reducing the tornado threat. As long as I keep an eye on it, it does do something. It's going to be pretty high across the area. And just like the storm pressure is going to be this close. This area goes by.
We're not going to stop until we get there. I knew which one we stopped. Piece of hell. All these storms that were in Oklahoma has now moved towards the Arkansas line and into Arkansas. That's why they've got a tornado warning still on this one that we're tracking. I believe it occluded and it's rebuilding. And then they've got one up near Huntsville, Arkansas, up by Fayetteville. All this is moving to the east. So if you're in Missouri, Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and particularly tomorrow in Dixie Alley, which is going to be Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, southern Illinois, and southern Indiana, they have already got a 3 out of 5 risk set for tomorrow. But this is just going to continue all night long and then ramp back up tomorrow when the sun comes up. We still have a tornado warning on this storm that we're on. It looks on the radar like it's ramping back up. welcome on board, Connie.
Pretty close to it, how it is.
So again, they've got this thing, the tornado. He's purple, they really that far out? Wow. So we just got a notification that there's a train spotter that's reporting inch-size hail in this storm that we're on, but it was off to the right of the camera a few miles. Just like last night, what we generally look for if there's a tornado in this system is the area where the frequent lightning is occurring. The more lightning, the more chances that tornado is going to be right where the frequent lightning is occurring. Turn that spotlight on. So again, we're seeing, I think this thing's ramping back up, so we're seeing the lightning start back up. And generally where there's lightning, you'll find a tornado. It's still showing on the radar, but this interstate keeps curving to the left. Up here at Mulberry, Arkansas, right at I-40. Okay, our phones are going off again. We're in the direct path of a tornado, so we must be close. It must be reforming. The Alma exit, so the next exit will be Mulberry, and that's where they've got the warning showing this storm. I'm trying to look at my radar. They're showing this thing crossing the interstate again right up here. But if it occludes and reform, you keep reforming out to the east. This particular storm has been together for almost 300 miles now since it was in southwest Oklahoma. Now we're in Arkansas. This supercell has stayed together that entire time. It's caused extensive damage in Oklahoma, including southeast Oklahoma, south of the Oklahoma City metro. Yeah, this Now this thing's re-intensifying. My contact information is in the description. Contact me and I'll get up with you on that weather update. I'm still nothing. It'll be your phone. It could be your phone. Alright, this thing is ramping back up. Shut down some program. I mean, you know.
The map program.
Yeah, but you don't have me turn back on. This thing's ramping back up. The lightning's getting more intense. Right here where we're at is where the most intense part of this storm is. Right in front of us where all that lightning is. It is still tornado warned. So we're in Arkansas now. We're coming up on, I believe it's Mulberry exit on Interstate 40 eastbound. This storm's re-intensifying again, and it's still tornado warned. We're right in the middle of this we only got one floor in the car. again, we're on this severe storm in Arkansas coming up on Mulberry, Arkansas. But if you're anywhere to the east, in Arkansas, Louisiana, these storms will be in Dixie Alley tomorrow, and we'll be dealing with them tomorrow, as well as going live. We're out of Nashville, and it's getting back into our territory tomorrow. I must step up. If you're new to our channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you'll see us go live tomorrow. But go back and look at that 1.5 mile wide tornado that we filmed last night. Unfortunately, the video we posted isn't great, but we did have a couple of really good pictures we put with it. We'll post more of those. We've got better video of it, and we'll post that later this week. So be sure to hit the notification so you'll see when we post those videos and more of the video of the Marion, Illinois tornado that they just upped the classification to an EF4 late last night. Probably because of the two houses that we drove up on that was totally gone off their foundation. And on that video, you can actually see we were one of the first two on the scene after it hit, literally within 2 minutes. Because we were chasing the tornado through the countryside, and Creel Springs got hit very, very hard. So again, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. We've got some really good videos we posted in the last 4 days of the Illinois tornado and the 1.5 to 2 mile wide tornado last night in Kansas that hit Plevna. We spent several hours with people this morning, and I'll post a video of the post damage and the repair work. I couldn't believe how many people came to help him. Most of the church roof, where near 25 shelf basement of the church, almost a third of the roof was gone. But I'm pretty sure they'll have that roof back, on before dark tonight at the rate they were working. I've never seen so many people bring out heavy equipment to clean that little community up. So we've got a lot of video on that. I talked to a lot of the residents there. We were the first 911 call into the center to give them the exact location of that tornado so they could put out the warnings downstream. And thank God they did. No fatalities and no serious injuries. I couldn't believe it. Man, this storm is really intensified. Man, these. Where? You see it on there anywhere? Oh no, people stopping under the interstate again. That's what gets people killed. Never pull off the road in a severe thunderstorm with your emergency flashers on, because everybody on the highway has got their emergency flashers on, and they'll run up behind you and hit you thinking that you're still on the interstate moving. You should never park under an overpass. And if you do have to pull off, turn your emergency flashers off and only leave your parking lights on so people know that you're not on the road.
Oh, it's in Missouri.
Well, they need one down here. The thunderstorm that we're in right now in Arkansas, and we're coming up on Ozark, Arkansas, is really intensifying. So if you're anywhere from mid-Missouri all the way down to northern Louisiana through Arkansas, all of this is headed your way. We've got some hail falling on us right now, but it's not continuous. I hope it's hail and not debris. I've made that mistake. Y'all can see out the window, right? You can see better than I can. We're in Ozark, Arkansas, eastbound on Interstate 40. All this is moving towards Russellville and Little Rock, and it'll probably be pretty close to Little Rock before midnight.
In 11 miles is our exit.
So this is Ozark, Arkansas. We're moving down Interstate 40 eastbound towards Little Rock and Russellville. All this is moving in your direction, as is the entire line, and it goes all the way up into southern Missouri. And there's tornadoes embedded in this line all the way up and down the line. That car did it right. Never pull off the road during this kind of weather and leave your emergency lights on. Turn your emergency lights off, because all of us on the highway have our emergency lights on. Somebody will make the mistake and think you're still on the highway and run right into the back of you because they can't see the road. You have to pull off and leave only your parking lights on. They just put a tornado warning out on this storm again for Ozark going towards Russellville. Trust me, we're in it. We know how bad it is. This storm's showing a hook echo on the bottom side of it, just out to the right of the camera. Generally, we look for, just like last night on that 2-mile wide tornado, we look for heavy lightning because of the intense energy around a tornado. You'll have more lightning around the tornado. Just like we did last night when that, we may be close to this. I can't believe these trucks are still on the road. More people pulling under the overpass. What's this storm? Tell me where that is crossing the interstate there. Is there a town there? We've already passed off there. How long before I have to get off? 7 miles, we got to get off and get gas. I'm already down below a quarter of a tank. You don't want to be out here in this chasing storms with no gas. You'll end up getting stranded and hopefully not right in front of a tornado. So we'll gas up real quick here in about 7 miles and get right back on the interstate. You can't tell, but this storm must be moving about 40 miles an hour over to our right. The storm is really ramping up. The hook looks like it's just to our right in this storm, which sounds about right. Okay, we gotta be careful right here. Yep. We're very close to the hook echo on this storm. We got to be very careful right here. We believe it's just off to our right. That's why you're seeing so much lightning right here. That doesn't mean it's on the ground. That just means the rotation and the energy that's being shown on the radar is just to the right, as is the hook on this storm. We want to thank all y'all for joining us. If you were on last night, we were trying to tell you where we were. That's why we constantly repeat ourselves at our location. If our live lead ever goes away, we do have friends and other people watching our live lead. So if they do not hear from us, updating our location to tell them about where to come look for us. Oh, God. Man, that was right in front of us. You didn't even have to count between the lightning flash and the thunder. It was simultaneous. I still got that lightning flash in my eye. People, this is pretty intense, actually. Most of the cars behind us have pulled off the road. What I worry about is if this thing hits or lightning strike takes out the power, we won't be able to gas up here. How far? Anybody else jump on the live lead when we did when that lightning strike hit? Woo!
3.24 exit.
We'll cut that out and play that back in slow motion.
Exit 37 and 3 miles.
Okay, we've got this hook echo coming real close to the interstate. Wow. This storm is really re-intensifying. I think I've drove enough. Does anybody want to come out here and drive for me? Be careful. I need you to come out and drive the car for me. Oh no. The interstate is totally flooded back here. What mile marker are we in?
I can't see.
Yeah, they won't come out for that, but for that reason right back there is why we end up putting 2 full sets of bearings on our car every year. The water gets into the bearings and eats them up.
Okay, 1.7 miles, exit 37.
Bad thing about storm chasing is it's always raining when we come out to do it. Go figure.
Sears says to pick him up at the airport and he'll drive for the day. We're just about in Ozark.
We're coming up on Ozark here on Interstate 40. We're eastbound. We're going to get off in about a mile. We got to get some gas in the vehicle. We're down to about an eighth of a tank.
That's correct.
So just some of the things we have to think about, like last night when we thought we may get hit by that tornado, we actually have a rear bar light on the car that we turn on in case we ever get blown off the road. People will be able to see the bar light up in the air. So we turn all those on when we're on the highway by ourselves, just in case we get blown off, somebody can find us.
Tornado warning in this area till 9 o'clock.
They just put out another tornado warning on this. This is only going to take us about. This is only going to take us about 1 minute to fill up and get back on the road. So hey, bear with us here.
It's also dark here.
No, I saw some light.
Okay.
I tell you, in Illinois, at that one we filmed up there, we gassed up just in time because I said if I don't gas up now, when the tornado comes through, we won't have any electricity to get gas. 30 minutes later, we filmed the tornado, no power. Where did I go? And when we drove back to that Love's truck stop, you couldn't even see it. It was so dark.
You're going to take a right.
And this was a long.
as of right now. We'll keep a close eye on it.
I don't know.
As it continues
It's a long off ramp.
Max, you ought to be here. It's pretty intense.
That storm here, Sherman, is not really rotating much anymore. It's mostly this wind and hail right now across North Texas. The light's growing to Sherman.
Where's my flag?
Drop right now here. Highway 1 going towards Avenue in Oklahoma.
That is flooded.
See something
Well,
to
they
keep an eye on.
better, somebody better move because I got to gas up.
You're kidding me.
Oh, somebody's got to move because I got to gas up.
Cheeseburger, by the way. I'm actually really jealous. It looks really good. A new tornado warning. All right, we have a new tornado warning. This one's going to be in Missouri. So a new tornado warning is for Iron and Washington.
Okay, this is
counties in
ridiculous.
Missouri.
Yeah, this ain't gonna work.
Warning now for St. Louis. You're in St. Louis, 70 mile per hour damaging winds and golf ball size hail is coming here over the next few minutes. New tornado warning south of St. Louis. This one's going to be near Verbatim. Very strong rotation, actually. There's a large mesocyclone on this going towards Caledonia, Potosi, west of Bismarck. So again, say if you're safely secure this warning, that is a relatively strong area of rotation that is currently tracking to the north-northeast. And it will be going in the direction of actually going in the direction of Memphis and Sullivan in the long term. That is another discrete supercell that is fired up out front of our massive cluster of storms.
He wanted a reason not to have to gas up and leave.
Oh.
And back over in
She
St.
said,
Louis,
"Here, take this pump. I'll gas up after you."
Right now.
Oh.
So if you are in St. Louis, again, make sure that you are.
Yes,
stay away
we
from
drive
windows
to
at
the
minute. There's a
tornadoes.
storm coming through right now. If I had to
But
take
for
a
some
guess,
reason, all these
probably
cars
on
think there's
one
hail
that,
coming,
yesterday.
and nobody's indicated hail on this storm.
We had huge backup of people in St. Louis the other day from people parking their overpasses because of a tornado warning and even just a severe warning. So possible again that's happening right now in St. Louis. Riley has an update. Go ahead, Riley.
Hey Max, so just an update on what to expect from the rest of the night in parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas. So this is the HRRR on Radar Omega. We do have our line here that we are currently watching move through. There's actually expected to be some brief redevelopment behind this later on tonight. I do not think this is going to pose much of a tornado threat, if any, but it will pose a significant damaging wind threat as it makes its way through, probably between around midnight and 3 a.m. tonight. So you guys are not done here in southeastern Oklahoma with severe weather for the night. There's going to be additional redevelopment, so please don't think you're done once the storms get through. Be prepared for a second wave of severe weather.
Thank you, Riley, for the update. This back over in St. Louis. This is live. Not this, but the other camera. It is very windy in St. Louis. It is definitely 70 mile per hour winds. Live shot here on the west side of St. Louis near Clayton. It is very windy right now. Definitely 70 mile per hour winds. You can see how slow the cars are going here on the roadway too. They have slowed down immensely here over the last couple minutes. Windy in St. Louis, and I don't think there is a tornado, but I do think that there is very high winds, and there's really a low chance of there being a tornado with this being a left splitter. It's another live shot too in St. Louis. Very windy. I mean, man, it is definitely windy here. Camera, by the way. We got a shame camera. This area, definitely stay away from windows. High winds are coming through right now. Bottom left of your screen, there are cars parked under an overpass.
But we do keep a safe distance when we go to film the tornadoes. We don't drive up to them.
Another really windy camera. Again, this is all across the west side of St. Louis right now. 70 mile per hour winds. You're staying away from windows.
All right. Am I live? Can anybody see me? We just
in the vicinity of St. Louis. There's also golf ball size hailfall with the storm as well, so we do have significant hail currently moving on to the north that is tracking the progressive one towards Alpine and Constantine, also tracking in the direction of Rapid.
Can anybody tell me if you can see me live?
Yeah, I see your face.
Oh, sorry. Ain't no lightning back here. I may have to clean my pants out though.
This is a new windy city. I mean, it pretty much is. It's been very windy the last few days. Not more cameras, let me swear.
Okay. Woo! I was gassing up when that lightning strike blew that transformer up behind the Loves. It had just popped when the lightning hit that transformer, and I jumped back about 5 feet. That's exactly what we were worried about. They now have no power in this whole area.
In Ozark, Arkansas.
We're at the Love gas station at exit, I don't know.
In Ozark, Arkansas.
38-mile marker of I-40. So we're 38 miles inside of Arkansas on Interstate 40 on this tornado-warned storm. Everybody was parked under the canopy thinking it was getting ready to rain. The lady that was parked there that I got to move, she thought maybe a tornado was coming because all their phones had went off with the tornado warning. I said, well, if there's one coming, the last place you want to be is under this canopy that's going to collapse. And I was afraid we were going to lose the power there. The guy that pulled up right next to me, he got out and he said, oh no, the pumps are dead. And I said, unfortunately, yes. Woo! So this is what tornado storms look like a lot of times. Sometimes maybe not, but the big storms that we filmed that had the largest tornadoes in them, and a good example would be, subscribe to our channel, go back and look at my Broken Bow, Oklahoma tornado from December of 2022, and look at the amount of lightning strikes, cloud to ground, and then you'll get to see the tornado come through right at the same time. That's how I knew it was there. I really didn't see it because of how many lightning strikes we had, because it blinds you for a second until I went back and reviewed the video. I knew it was there, I just couldn't see it. But that was a huge tornado. That killed I think eight that day, and went through Idabel and then Broken Bow. So that's what we look for in the supercell, is we go to where we can see the most lightning and where we see on the radar the rotation, and between the two it puts us pretty much right on top of the tornado. A good example is if you go and look at our Scott Air Force Base tornado from March the 14th of this year. I literally could not see it. I got out of the car and we couldn't hear it, and then I saw something out of the corner of my eye and an electric flash. Turned the car just enough and just in time. The tornado hit a transformer, just like back there, blew the transformer up and lit the entire tornado up in blue light. And that's the only way we knew that tornado was there, and it was less than 300 yards away. So it wasn't a big one, but even when they're small and you can see it, it's just the perfect funnel, like ice cream cone shape. You can't hear them sometimes. Now that one last night, we could hear it. We could actually hear that one. And the one, what was the other one we heard? The one in Seymour, Texas, 2 weeks ago, we could hear that one before we could even see it. And
transformer at our intersection.
right, so we looked up and we had these power lines all around us. I took off. I said, I'm not staying here. We didn't make 100 feet and the transformer behind us blew up. You can, when we post that video, you'll be able to see the entire car light up in light from the transformer blowing up right behind us. But that back there is pretty intense. I'll have to admit, I was a little worried I might have to check my pants because I was sitting there gassing up when that lightning strike hit. Woo! So we're in Arkansas now. I'm not sure what the county is here either. We're headed towards, I believe Clarksville's right down the road here. I think our next city we'll come into is Clarksville and then Russellville. Woo! I don't know how many of y'all were on when we were at the Love's gas stop station back here while I was gassing up that lightning strike hit. I kind of let go of everything. I had that second thought of fright or flight. I wanted to do both of them at the same time.
Yeah, a little bit.
And for those cars parked under that overhang that didn't gas up before that, you know, shame on them because now they can't gas up, the fire's out. Let me take a look at this storm just a second.
That comes in a hurry.
So we've got another, believe it or not, as severe as this storm is right here, we've got another one coming in from the south. It's probably going to merge with this one. This line of storms is going to continue to drop tornadoes up until after midnight tonight and then revamp tomorrow morning when the sun comes up.
Mosquitoes want to know if any of these storms are heading towards Tennessee.
Yes, all these storms are headed towards Tennessee. Tomorrow, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, and lower Indiana and Illinois is already under a 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather, including EF3 and larger tornadoes. And we really expect them to put a moderate risk, which would be a 4 out of 5, and even possibly a 5 out of 5, based on how many tornadoes have occurred yesterday and today with this line of storms. The last I heard, they were actually expecting, once it got to Dixie Alley, that the supercells would form more frequently out in front of this line because of the moisture and the warmth, and that we could actually experience more tornadoes in Dixie Alley than we did over here in Kansas and Oklahoma and Texas the last day and a half, 2 days, and now it's moving. So again, if you're, we're going to be going live, and we're going to be chasing from northern Mississippi up into western Tennessee and western Kentucky and lower Illinois, just like we were last Friday when we filmed that one in Marion, Illinois, because they're already predicting we're going to have a lot of tornadoes. So you need to be weather aware, and it's going to last all the way up into the nighttime until after midnight. These storms will not start ramping down until they get to Georgia and the Carolinas. What they say.
I didn't hear.
No, they're typing. They're typing.
What?
They're typing. What do you think?
Just say they have lost power in Jefferson City. It's mostly 60-mile-per-hour winds. So, assuming your power
Our
grid
house
is
was
went down
miles from a tornado hook last night. We live off of 380 in northern
Winds aren't
Texas.
super strong. They're around 60. But
I heard about that one last night. That one was going on about just before the 1.5 wide one that we filmed last night touched down. I'll tell you, that one last night was the largest, literally the largest tornado I've ever seen. So it came south of Greenburg, Kansas, and it looked just like the one that hit Greenburg about 15 years ago and totally wiped that town out. It was so close to the ground and it was so wide, at one point I couldn't even get it in the viewfinder to be able to get the full picture of the tornado because it widened out so wide. At one point we were being told it was over 2.5 mile wide. After surveying the damage today, I don't think it was that wide, but I think it came close to 2 miles wide at one point based on the damage that we saw today.
And Skittles says that he's from East Tennessee, so he just wants to be prepared.
Just always be prepared to have some way of getting notifications, because like a while ago, like, you know, every day when we get close to the storm, we get a warning on our telephone that we're near a twisting storm or a tornado. And by the time you get that notification on your cell phone, that tornado's within 3 to 5 miles of you. One of our frustrations yesterday was they kept moving the tornado warned area only about 10 miles at a time, and most of the small communities that we were in Kansas was only getting 5 minutes notice. Maybe 8 in a couple of circumstances. But it was last night when we saw it on the ground and called 911, and they said we were the first call. I gave them the exact location of that big tornado and told them that they needed to let everybody downstream from that tornado be aware they need to get out of there. The news people, they were telling them if you're not below ground, you're gonna die. That's how big the tornado was. It was absolutely huge. So, you know, we don't do this for thrills. We don't do this for money. The only thing that we get out of this is, number one, we get to film some of the most dramatic weather events that ever happened, and in turn we help them be aware and help make them be aware that they should never take a storm, a tornado warning, or anything for granted. I do some stuff in the school system for appropriately aged kids, so they'll be aware of what to look for. I've had trained firefighters and emergency managers that we ran into on the road, and I'd slide in beside them and say, "Are you looking for a tornado?" And they said, "Yes, we're out here spotting for it." And I said, "Well, it's right over there, so you might want to move." They didn't know what they were looking for. So unless you've seen a tornado a couple of times in different forms, they don't look like they do on TV all the time. There may be even a case that you drove through a tornado and didn't even know you drove through a low-level tornado. Because you can drive through an EF0 or EF1 and probably survive it. You may see a bunch of stuff blowing across the road may almost blow you in the ditch, but you can still drive through it, because we have. So one of the two reasons we're out here is to help make people aware and come up with a better warning system than we got now. 60% of this country does not have weather alert radio frequencies from the Weather Service. They only cover really metropolitan areas and a few miles outside of that. 40% of the country doesn't even have good radar coverage. Like last night, they could not confirm that that tornado was on the ground because the radar was so far away. But what they could see up in the cloud told them that it was a huge tornado. So another good example, same tornado, Broken Bow, Oklahoma, December 22. I was there and I couldn't use my radar because there was no radar within 125 miles of that location. They called it a dead zone. So radars that far out is only going to see about 15,000 feet above the ground. And if the rotation isn't quite up there yet, they're not going to be able to put out a warning. So, you know, that's the other reason we're out here, is to help make people aware that you shouldn't take weather for granted. And the one thing that scares me is not even the lightning, it's the flooding. Because you drive into a flooded stream that takes your car off the road, you're helpless. You can't do anything about that. You know, and if you get out of the car and don't know that you're still in 3 or 4 feet of water, you're going to step off in a hole, and that's how so many people die. I mean, we were just out here a couple of months ago and driving through part of southeast Oklahoma City, southeast Oklahoma City. 2 people drowned in that tornado outbreak. Didn't die from the tornado, they drowned from all the flooding that was occurring at the same time in rain, just like we're experiencing right now. So all I can tell you is East Tennessee, I know you don't get a lot of storms over there, but if you do get them, you know how hard it is to see them coming, because I live in Tennessee myself, and unless I get out and find a spot to see them, you can't see them coming. The other problem we've got in Tennessee is in 2011, when they had that huge tornado outbreak across Dixie Alley, Mississippi and Alabama put in community storm shelters that would hold anywhere 40 to 100 people. We did not put one shelter in Tennessee. I don't know of one community shelter that people can go to anywhere in Tennessee. Every time we go to Mississippi or Alabama, we have somebody stop by and said, if you need a shelter, and they'll tell us exactly where the community shelter is. And that's shame on Tennessee for not doing something, because more people are killed in Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee every year from tornadoes than all of the states out in the Midwest. Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas, who has more tornadoes than anybody. More people's killed in Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee than all of the states that experience the majority of the tornadoes. And we have not done enough to put a better warning system in place and put more community shelters out there that people can go to. This community last night in Kansas that got hit, the whole town probably wasn't a football field and a half long. They had one church in the center of town, had a basement. Everybody went to that church, got in the basement, and nobody got killed in that town. And we're going to post the video from our visit with them today and tell you the story about this place. Because they had their own plan of what they were going to do to survive a tornado in that little town. And if you'd seen the community out in the middle of nowhere, you'd never thought that these people had got together and put their own tornado plan in place so they could survive. Not one major injury. They had a few scratches, a few cuts, no deaths, no major injuries. But then you get to Tennessee and Kentucky, Somerset and London, Kentucky. If you look at who died, it was older people who went to bed early, took their hearing aids out, never even knew there were storms coming, and they got hit with 2 tornadoes back to back. And now I heard the count was up to 38 and 32, but I think it's somewhere between 28 and 32. You gotta have a plan. And if storms are around, you gotta have a plan. One of the guys in this little town, I told him he was a kooky old guy to do it, but he sat on his front porch until he could see the edge of the tornado before he went and got in a safe place until it passed. I saw that tornado last night and it freaked me out. I had never seen a tornado that big, and just assumed everybody in front of that tornado was going to die. That's how that tornado was. They were telling us there was winds of over 200 miles an hour in, and based on the damage that I saw to trees over almost a 2-mile area, it could have had those kind of winds, but I don't think they're going to rate it above an EF3 because of the damage to the houses. With that said, don't beat me up, but I don't have a shelter at my house either. I know where it's at. And just like all those people last night, if they had just gotten their vehicles and drive 2 miles to the south, they would have been totally out of the front of that tornado. They not only have each other. Before 2 a.m. this morning, that tornado hit at 11:30 at that town, because that's when I took the picture of we were filming the tornado just before it hit that little community. It hit the community about 11:30. By 2 a.m. this morning, people that didn't even know anybody in town had brought skid loaders in and everything they needed to start getting the streets opened up so emergency vehicles could get in there and start putting the fire bowls up and checking everybody, make sure they were.
You want me to put that in there?
No, I'm trying to think where we're going to place that. But anyway, complete strangers come out to help those people. I've never seen. They didn't even know each other. They at noon today, with everybody working together, everybody working to put the roof back on the church that everybody sheltered in the basement of when it came through. At noontime today, one of the other town came through with a bunch of food and supplies and all for the town, and wanted to know who was in charge, and they were asking me, and I said, I don't know. And when we asked everybody standing around that was helping and working, they didn't know. There was no coordinated effort. These people just come in and started doing what they knew had to be done. So we're going to be telling that story in a video, because we did a lot of filming today and a lot of talking to the residents, and it was pretty impressive.
He says that's awesome. It's good to know there's still good people in the world.
Believe it or not, we actually see that almost every time we go into an area like that. or we come up on damage after a tornado, there's not, there's always shock and awe and, where do we go from here? But we see people immediately start helping. While those people are dealing with their losses, other people are trying to find their possessions, clean the streets up so emergency vehicles can get into them, and they're not even being asked to do it. They don't care whether they get paid. A supply company today brought in everything they needed to fix the roof on that church, and I'm sure they did it for free, because we got there at 9 o'clock this morning, and there's no way there was any kind of coordinated effort from midnight last night to 9 a.m. this morning. People just did what they thought they needed to do and showed up. Pretty impressive. I didn't see a government official there, to be honest with you, and I didn't see anybody in charge of coordinating anything, and that's probably what made it go so smooth, is you didn't have so many Indians trying to supervise, or politicians there trying to tell everybody what they needed to do. But anyway, as far as notification and preparedness, even out here, you'd be surprised how many people come up to us when we're gassing up, or they see us parked on the side of the road watching for the storms, asking us, is the weather going to be bad today? What should we do if it gets bad? Now this is in Kansas and Nebraska and Oklahoma and Texas. Doesn't matter where we go, there's still no real coordinated effort to be sure people know how to be aware of weather and how to get notifications when it's going to get bad. So it's kind of, if you don't do it yourself, nobody's going to do it for you right now. And the weather radios are not guaranteed that you'll get a warning. I mean, storms knock out radio tires. Storms interfere with radio frequencies. I used to be a county EMS director. We dealt with that all the time with hurricane in Florida. Everybody thinks cell phones are going to work. We know for a fact that when a tornado touches down, it's going to take the cell phones out. We're going to lose communications. So we actually have CB radios and ham radios on board, because we need to reach out past cell phones. Cell phones are going to be totally useless to you in a hurricane, tornado, anything that's going to take down the communication system. I tell this story a lot, but a funny story. You know, the commercial said when you got this phone in your hand, you have the power of the universe in your palm of your hand. Well, I left my keys and my cell phone in my office one day a few years back. It was after 6 o'clock, so the front door of the building locked automatically when I walked out. It got to my car, didn't have my keys, went to get my cell phone to call my staff inside to open the door for me. Oh, my cell phone's on my desk with my keys. Oh, there's no pay phones anymore. I can't walk up on the hill and find a pay phone and call them. So you go from having the power of the universe in your hand when you think you've got a cell phone to, I was basically penniless, homeless, didn't have a vehicle to drive because my keys were locked in the building, and I had to walk a quarter mile down the road and get somebody to let me borrow their cell phone, and then walk a quarter mile back to my office to get them to open the door. And of course they stood there at the door saying, how bad do you really want to get in? It's just like people get rid of their GPSs for navigation in their cars. Oh, I've got Google Maps. Until, like you've seen tonight, we lose cell coverage and it just spins a circle of death. Oh, you don't have navigation when there's no cell phone. So everybody's selling all their GPSs cheap. We carry 4 of them with us because we've been out in the boonies, no cell coverage, and if we didn't have the old type GPSs, we'd have never got back out of that part of those states. So let me tell you where we're at right now. We're about 80 miles out of Little Rock. We're on I-40. We're ahead of all these storms on this line. The storm that is behind us is no longer tornado warned, but it is still severe warned. And the only thing I can do at this point, we'll probably shut down the live feed here in a minute, is everybody to the east, all the way through Missouri, Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and particularly the ones that are in Dixie Alley tomorrow when these storms get to Tennessee and Kentucky and Mississippi and Alabama and Illinois and Indiana. You need to be aware as they come, because you know it's going to be tomorrow. There's going to be different times for different areas, and it's going to be all the way into after midnight. So if you're in East Tennessee, I would say you wouldn't see these storms until what is today? Tuesday or Monday. You probably won't see these storms until almost daylight on Wednesday or daylight on Thursday, but you're going to get them, and it won't be until they clear Tennessee before they start winding down, is what we're being told. I don't know. The power must be out here totally. We don't see any lights. Well, there's a light over there, isn't there? Yeah. Oh, that's the emergency light. Oh, that regular light. That's regular light. New highway. So the only thing we can do at this point is tell everybody there's a lot of rain going to be the rest of the night. There's still going to be the potential for tornadoes until the early hours of the morning. There's still going to be severe thunderstorms out there all night long as this line of storms and this system moves towards the East Coast. Tomorrow, everybody needs to be weather alert. Today, the storms, they had tornado warnings from northern Texas all the way up into Nebraska, and now they're having tornado warnings in Missouri. It's going to be like that tomorrow also. There's going to be tornado warnings in Louisiana, all the way up into Indiana, and those warnings will start moving east tomorrow evening as this system moves toward the East Coast. I don't know how many tornadoes we'll have tomorrow. They said today was going to be an outbreak. I don't know if we met that criteria today, but obviously there's been a lot of people impacted by tornadoes today in several states. So it only has to be one that hits your community for you to think it was a tornado outbreak. And that's what we've been seeing the last, well, every time we go out. Every time we go out. Last year in Oklahoma and northern Texas, I think we had 38 tornadoes in the course of 8 or 10 hours. And that was the year of Sulphur Springs and Henrietta and Lawton and Duncan all got hit just within hours of each other. Bowie, I think, got hit down in Texas. So anyway, this storm is still, this entire line is severe warned all the way up and down it for severe thunderstorms, lightning, and wind. I mean, you saw, if you was on the live feed a while ago, you saw what happened at Love's. Lightning hit, blew out the transformer behind the building, and they lost power. If we hadn't have got gas, if I wasn't able to fill up before that lightning strike hit, we would have been stranded there because we had an eighth of a tank of gas. And there's probably a lot of other people there because the big truck that pulled in beside me, I know he's not getting but about 14 miles a gallon on that. And the power went out just as he pulled up to the pump. So, you know, you pull in to get gas when you don't have any. So I'm not sure what they're going to do, but I'm sure that power is going to be out back there until sometime tomorrow, because we can see the transformer blow in the back. That's why the power came on, went off, came on, went off. The power lines flickered, the transformer blew, and then the what they call the switch, or the breaker on top of the transformer, disconnected from the power lines, and that's when the power went off permanently. So
Skittles said that it was thank you and it was nice to meet you.
well, we enjoy everybody riding with us. We try not to scream and holler, you know. I'm sure last night I said, oh my God, a few times, because that was the biggest tornado I'd ever seen. And if you subscribe and go back and look at the lightning strike we caught in Killeen, Texas a week and a half ago, and that was by pure accident. We had the cameras on when we were going down the interstate, and it hit that transformer. The transformer blew up beside the interstate, and then whatever it hit, it must have been a power station, exploded, and you can see the explosion. That one was pretty impressive, and I might have raised my voice a couple of octaves on that one too. You should have, well, maybe you shouldn't have heard what I said when the lightning hit back there, because I was actually pumping the gas, and it had just clicked. It was still in the tank, the handle was, when the lightning struck, and I just let go of everything, and I might have said something a little inappropriate. But anyway, we try to be informative. We don't go live unless there's something to see. We're not here just to bore anybody of driving down the highway. And once we do go live, that's generally the beginning of whatever's going to happen that day. Like last night, I would have never believed that by the end of the day yesterday, we'd be filming almost a 2-mile wide tornado at night. And you just don't know how much I hate tornado chasing at night, but sometimes you got to do it. And if you look at our video from March 14th of the Scott Air Force Base tornado, again, that was a nighttime tornado. We didn't see it till it hit the transformer, and we call it our blue tornado because it lit the entire tornado up in blue light. That's the only way we knew it was there. We try not to drive in them. So far, we've been lucky. We've had a couple of near misses. That's going to happen if you're coming out here as much as we do every year and chase storms. But we will never drive into a hail core or drive into a tornado on purpose. We have drove through smaller tornadoes by accident, but we haven't drove into them on purpose. And my car still only has about 3 little dents from hail, while everybody else's, they've already had to trade cars because of how much hail's hit theirs. So
Gambler wants to know if we've seen anything today.
Did we see anything tonight?
Any tornadoes today?
We didn't see any today. We were in several tornado warnings. One paced us down I-40 until we got into Arkansas, and then it became a real severe lightning storm. It was ramping back up. They put another tornado warning on it, but I really didn't see a lot of circulation tight like I did last night. I don't know if you were with us last night, but I literally had to watch the circulation on the radar in the car to make sure I was a mile or two away from that big 1.5, 2-mile wide tornado until I got south of it. experience kept us from driving into that tornado. And then when I turned and saw how big it was and we filmed it, I probably won't try that move again. We didn't punch the hell core. I don't do that. We went around it, but still, we knew it was on the ground. We knew it was big. They were saying it had 180, 200 mile an hour winds in it. Go look at that video we posted. It's not a great video, but we had 2 really good pictures of it that we posted with the video. We posted some on my Instagram, and we will post the entire video from the 4K cameras that was in the windshield and on the sides as soon as we can download them this week, because that was pretty impressive last night. And the one that we filmed in Marion, Illinois, if you haven't heard, they upgraded the tornado we filmed in Marion, and then chased it, and you can see it on the video. You'll see it actually 3 more times on the video between the trees of how close we were right behind it. And then when we happened up on that community in Creel Springs, Illinois, that got devastated by it, we had some Texas storm chasers right in front of us, and then we pulled in right behind them, and I can't believe those people didn't have anybody killed or injured there either. But they upgraded, since 2 of those houses where we were at were totally destroyed and tore off their foundation. They upgraded it to an EF4 late yesterday. But we got to do better. You know, then you look at Somerset and London, Kentucky, and eastern Kentucky. They just did not get enough notice to get everybody notified. And most of the people that died was over the age of 50. And I actually think most of them were over the age of 60, who probably went to bed early, took their hearing aids out, had no idea bad weather was coming, and never woke up. When I heard they put out a mass casualty for Somerset and London, Kentucky, and being a former EMS director, knowing what that means, you have to have casualties, enough injuries and deaths to overwhelm the local resources for us to call a mass casualty to every first responder, whether it's police, fire, or EMS. When we hear that call go out that that area has declared a mass casualty, it just puts shock in the EMS and first responder communities, because that means there's a lot of loss of life and a lot of injuries. So anyway, we're going to be chasing North Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, and maybe a little bit of Arkansas there at Cape Girardeau over to Carbondale, Illinois. We're going to be in that area, and then we will follow the storms back through Kentucky and Tennessee tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. We'll probably go live early, actually, because these storms that's right behind us right now will be in that area by daylight, or certainly by noontime. They'll be firing up as soon as the heat of the sun starts destabilizing the environment in front of them. And once that happens, then they're going to start turning in. They said we're going to have a lot of discrete supercells out in front of this line, and that's where we're going to see the tornadoes tomorrow. So we will be live tomorrow, and it's probably going to be a long day. We'll probably be live for probably 6, 7, 8 hours, because we're going to chase them all the way back into the Nashville area, which is our base of operation. And if necessary, we'll chase them a little bit further past that. But we don't like to chase past the, what we call the ridge up near, from Cookeville, Tennessee east, and Jamestown, Tennessee east. We tried that one time. We're not doing that again. You cannot see the storms. They come down the other side of the mountains and they actually increase in speed. And you don't even know they're coming until they top of the mountain. So, yep, Tennessee. I'm from Pensacola area, Florida. Spent 38 years down there. Love it. Great place to vacation. But I wanted 4 seasons, and I finally made it to Tennessee. And I love it there. I love traveling like we do on storm chasing so I can see other areas of the country. But I actually love Tennessee. I used to do a lot of spelunking in the caves. Took my sons there with me. They got to do stuff that most kids don't get to do, which is go in caves and explore them and see the markings from people who had been in them since the 1800s. You know, don't leave a footprint. Look, see, and leave. And actually, one of my sons did a senior thesis on the Tennessee State amphibian, which is the red black-spotted salamander, who is only found in caves from Nashville to Chattanooga. And he got to see one in a cave. We took a picture, and he did his senior thesis on that. I didn't even know Tennessee had an amphibian, state amphibian. But to see it, you got to go down in the cave system to see it. So that was pretty cool. So I love Tennessee. I agree with you totally. I don't like the fact we've got so many people who's moved into Nashville. I may end up down in Chattanooga if I ever stop working, and don't want to, but I love working in healthcare. I work in the ICU. I'm a cardiac technician, and I love helping, you know, diagnose patients and treat them and get them well. Curative care is the only way to go, not maintenance care. And as long as I got something to bring to the table, I'll keep working. I can't imagine sitting on a porch, rocking in a chair, waiting for my next bowel movement for something to do. That just don't sound like me. So with that said, we're gonna end the live stream. We hope everybody's back tomorrow. Be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, not only to know when we go live, and we'll be out for the next couple of weeks into we'll be out probably to the second week of June pretty regularly if there's something going on. And so you'll know when we go live, but particularly we've got a lot of excellent video from the tornadoes and storms that we've filmed so far this year that we're going to be posted. It just takes a while to get them downloaded and edited, so we give you the highlights, the really good highlights, like last night of that big tornado. So you'll have something to enjoy seeing. And if you haven't watched the Broken Bow video, I think it's 28 minutes long, be sure to watch that one on the big screen TV. Turn the volume up. You'll feel like you're sitting in the front seat of the car with me. With all the lightning, you'll get to see the tornado. You'll get to see everything going on. Pretty intense. That was a pretty intense night. And but people that's told me they've watched it on a big screen TV and turned the volume up said they had to turn it back down. They were freaking out just a little bit, because that particular night I was not live. I videotaped it on some good video machines, cameras, and edited that down. Didn't cut it. It's raw material, but you know, just turn the lights down like you're sitting in the front seat of a car at night. Turn the volume up. Watch it on a big screen TV. Sit close to the TV, and you'll be right there with me that whole 28 minutes. Pretty intense night for me. Probably of all the times I've been out, and actually I was by myself that night, that's probably one of the most intense nights I've ever had. So look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Always feel free. My contact information is in there. If you got questions or you want to find out a little bit more about how to go about awareness, I had a lady today that came to me, and she's actually driving an awareness program of a better warning system in Kansas. If they can send tornado warnings directly to your phone, why can't they send you notifications that bad weather's coming in? Because she lived 2 miles from that town, did not hear the siren. She didn't get hit, but she had no idea a tornado was coming through until her phone went off. And then by the time her phone went off and she got out of bed and looked out, it was all over. And she had turned the TV on, and that's how she found out. So I agree with her. There's got to be a better warning system. So anyway, have a good night. Glad you rode with us for a while. The storms are behind us, about 20 miles. We're going to try to get ahead of them and get 3 or 4 hours sleep. We only had 3 last night, so we hope to get 3 or 4 hours tonight before we start chasing tomorrow.